Hey guys, welcome to This Week in Anime. I'm Freedom,
I'm Alan,
and
and
we
we are
are
the Anime
Anime Philosophers.
Philosophers. Okay, guys, welcome back again. As always, we like to share our take on anime. We have fun doing it. We hope you guys have fun listening to us too.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll even leave you with an interesting insight that you maybe never thought of before. That's our mission, at least. We'll see. We'll see if we can pull it off.
That's right. So before we get started this week, Freedom, any interesting news in anime since last time?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So I don't know if any of you guys been paying attention, but there's that Full Metal Alchemist live action movie coming out, and apparently Hiromi Arakawa, the original manga author for FMA, is going to be releasing a FMA Zero chapter uh, to celebrate the movie's release. So it looks like I think anyone who goes to the movie or something like that will get the chapter. Um, and it looks like it's going to be covering Ed's some of those years right after Ed became a state alchemist. Oh, and by the way, both of us are huge fans of
Yeah,
FMA.
yeah, it's our favorite anime, especially Brotherhood. Definitely Brotherhood.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure anyone listening has probably seen FMA, but if you haven't, it's a tragedy. So go watch it. Go watch it now.
Yeah, highly recommended. So moving on, we'll this week we'll continue covering the Ancient Magus Bride, which we started last week. We'll do episodes 4, 5, and 6. Um, and before we start, Freedom, you wanted to say something about the question of the week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So for folks who tuned in to episode one, uh, first of all, thanks for tuning in. Uh, make sure to expand the video description under YouTube because we've kind of put together a little table of contents, so it's really easy to, get through. If you don't have time to listen to the whole podcast, you can just click on the timestamps and go straight to a section that you want to hear about. Like if you're interested in episode three of the Ancient Magus Bride, you can just click on that. Um, so we're trying to split that up so it's really easy for you to go through it. And in addition to that, we also have highlights, some of the most interesting sections. We think we have a few quotes there, as well as a question of the week. We think that's kind of a fun way to get everyone involved because this podcast isn't just about talking about what we think about anime and philosophy, but we also want to hear what you guys think about anime and philosophy so we can all learn from each other. Last episode, we had the question of the week was where is that? One today's worth two tomorrows.
yep.
So yeah, we just wanted your thoughts on what you think that means, and how you interpret it. So if you have any feedback, if you have any ideas on that, please leave a comment on episode one. We'd love to hear what you think.
Sounds good, Freedom. So without further ado, let's get started with episode 4. Let's read the summary first.
Okay, episode four. Everything must have a beginning. Great title as usual.
Yep.
Long ago, the humans and cats of Ulthar, city of cats, were struck by a great tragedy. For generations, the souls of those who were at the center of this tragedy have been sealed away by the king of cats. Chise and Elias travel to Ulthar in order to complete Simon's second task, to purify the spirits that remain.
Yeah, I guess we'll be introduced to even more characters this time around, and hopefully we'll learn more about Chise and her magical powers and everything revolving around that.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yep. Okay, so we just watched episode 4. Very interesting episode. Yeah, so we got introduced to the city of cats. Uh, Before we start, this episode both reminded us of one of our favorite cat anime characters of all time, Yoruichi in Bleach. Um, Bleach, both for a great anime and a great character, by the way.
Yeah.
We both recommend it. And yeah, so other than that, let's see. So we got introduced more to like the dichotomy between sorcerers and mages.
Yep.
Um, so it seems like It's like what we talked about in an earlier the earlier podcast. As Prito mentioned, it seems like sorcerers are more of a science, closer to like the colder science aspect of things, and mages are perhaps more traditionalists. Or yeah, I don't know if you want to add something to that, Freedom.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely see it that way. You have the sorcerers, definitely seem to be representing science, and you have the mages, kind of old school, kind of an old school approach to things, almost reminding me more of like a feeling based or more of an artistic outlook of life, whereas you have the scientist who kind of looks at things um, kind of as a cold observer and kind of breaks things down, looks at things at a with a reductionist kind of approach, more interested in kind of manipulating things to use for his own advantage. So anyway, that's what we think. We'll see if that really pans out to be true. But it seems like the show is trying to set up this interesting dichotomy between science and between art.
Right, right. Um, yeah, and we're still, I guess, there's still some hidden things that about um, about the main characters. Like, Chise has not been told that, as a result of her powers, she might have to pay some price, as the sorcerers say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh, yeah, as we were mentioning in the previous episode, where we couldn't really tell, what was kind of driving Elias to purchase Chise at that auction. Why was he even at that auction? There's a lot of questions like that, um, and so is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I think he's a good guy, still, but it looks like he's been hiding something from her, and so I hope we find out more about that and the reasons why he decided to conceal that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see if episode 5 answers some of these questions.
Let's do it.
Yep. Okay, so the title for this episode is Love Conquers All. Sounds a little bit cheesy, but knowing this anime, it'll probably have a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. To Sorcerer Renfren's eyes, Chise is a sad girl being duped by a mage. But no matter what Elias' true motives are, Chise has no intention of leaving him. Elias was the first person to value her after all. As she walks towards the epicenter, she learns of the truth behind it. The sight of a boy appears behind the tragedy. Okay, so it looks like some mysteries will be resolved. Seems like definitely it looks like a darker episode from the based on the description.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we discover who those two people in her memories,
Yeah,
who they are, and how they relate to that weird, crazy, goopy monster that we saw on that island.
yeah,
Uh, so I think it's going to be interesting.
yeah. Okay, let's find out. All right, just
Yeah.
finished
Wow.
episode 5. Wow,
Wow.
just wow, man. Yeah, the most intense episode so far, probably.
Yeah. That was crazy. All this time I've been thinking that Ancient Magus Bride, again, people comparing it to Mishishi and stuff, as more of a quiet, kind of subtle, reflective anime, and it is those things, but it's turned a new leaf with this episode because, man, this was dark and was intense as hell. This was not subtle.
Not subtle at all. I take back what I said about the title being cheesy. It's definitely very profound.
Yeah, yeah. So the episode starts off with a bang, and honestly, with some awesome direction. It starts off with Chise. Uh, this is right when the sorcerer has revealed that, as a slave Beggy, that she will. It's very likely that she will die early. And so you have this great scene where Chise is like shocked and she's saying my death, And then right above that, you have the title "Love Conquers All."
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, very powerful contrast.
yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we learn more about the background of the Kingdom of the Cats. Uh, we learn why they hate sorcerers. It
Hmm.
seems like there's a pretty good reason for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's uh it's a really it's a really sad story actually. How the everyone involved was manipulated by the sorcerers, and they were just looked at as an experiment, as a data point, basically.
Yeah.
We definitely, I mean, we see more of that dichotomy confirmed about the sorcerers and the mages. How the sorcerers are more of just cold science without any really morality based on it. You only look at people and really all life forms as just data to verify uh, or disprove your hypothesis.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I think in this episode we're definitely getting, some of our predictions about that dichotomy. It looks like they're being confirmed. Um, yeah, because you have that very rational, unbiased scientific view, which is promoted in the scientific method, right? It's all about
yeah,
confirming your hypotheses with as little biases as possible. By the way, Alan and I both have backgrounds in science and technology, so this stuff comes very naturally to us, and that's probably why we've kind of honed in on it, because we kind of think of this kind of stuff all the time. So yeah, if you listen, you're probably going to be hearing a lot of stuff related to science, technology. Alan tends to run a little bit on the theoretical side, whereas I'm more of the a little bit more applied. So we get some
yeah,
interesting conversations and some interesting debates out of that kind of melting pot of experiences.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, and you guys should let us know too if you like our take on uh, these ideas, like the more scientific based ideas too.
Yeah, yeah. If you like that stuff, very, very happy to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we talk about that kind of stuff all the time. So
yeah.
so again, science versus art in another form. So pretty interesting.
Very interesting. And this actually reminded me a little bit of like the whole story where he is trying to make his wife healthy by killing cats, killing other life forms.
Mhm.
Um, it reminded me a little bit of the Eastern philosophical take on this, which is really love with attachment can really can really become problematic
Mhm.
if the attachment is too strong.
Right.
Because I mean, he was a great guy. Everyone loved him. Even at the end, his own wife was like, "You you're not the kind of guy to do this kind of stuff. Why'd you
Right.
do it?" And you know he he did it for her basically because
Yep.
of his attachment for her.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it can really like even something as amazing as love can be turned into something perverse like that if
Right.
combined with like a
Right.
deep attachment.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they did a beautiful job of really showing how love can be a double-edged sword in that sense. Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah,
You can see that actually there's a very interesting parallel between Matthew's love for his wife, which is this kind of very attached kind of love. Almost, it's so attached, it's almost suffocating in a way. And at the same time, you have the Queen of the Cats. She offers to lead those souls away, right at the end. And she offers to give up her own
right,
life, and Chise says, "No, you can't do that, right? Because Mina, her owner, that little kid, would be sad if you were to leave." But Queen of the Cats, like, she's very calmly replies, like, "We had some great memories together, and that's all I need."
Yeah.
Death comes suddenly. So you really get to see these two forms of love, like, directly contrasted against each other. It's pretty amazing. It's really the same base emotion, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it can be a force for good. It can be a force for evil.
Definitely. Yeah. And even though it might seem like superficially, if you tell someone that since the queen of the cats was so ready to leave, you might
Hmm.
think that, oh, maybe she loved her owner less
Yeah,
than the husband loved his wife, but actually that's not the case, right? They It's probably the same intensity of love, but just without the attachment in one case.
absolutely. Yeah, I think, in fact, one could say that true love doesn't have attachment. Um,
Right.
yeah, if you look, at least if it's interesting. If you look in, like, in the natural world, you look out at nature and stuff. If you look at uh, like mothers in nature, if you look at, for example, yeah, I'm a huge fan of, like, National Geographic and Discovery and stuff. So I'll
Of
probably be
course.
mentioning a
Yeah.
lot of wildlife related stuff. But if you look at, great mothers in the wild, for example, a whale, typically only has one calf, right? So that one calf means everything to her. And so whales, for example, once the calf reaches an appropriate age that it can fend for itself, the calf needs to be weaned from the mother. So she actually has to push it away, and she has to swim away, so that calf learns to protect itself.
Right.
So that's real love, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have that kind of suffocating element of, like, complete attachment that I think you were starting to see with Matthew.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, great episode. Um, we saw some closure, some good stuff about sorcerers and mages, and hopefully we'll find out even more in the next episode.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm liking this new direction. I'm
Yeah.
liking this
Definitely.
intense vibe, intense dark vibe. I just can't wait to find out what happens next.
Me too. Let's get started to the next episode.
All right, so we're gonna watch episode 6, and the title is "The Faerie Queene." It looks like we're seeing a departure from those more interesting episode titles, getting something more
Right.
standard here. I hope we go back soon, but Chise is deep in thought as she watches the souls return to where they'd belonged all along. More than 10 days have passed since the incident at Ulthar, but she is still in a deep sleep. Elias and Simon stand worriedly by her side when they are met by two unexpected guests: Titania, Queen of Fairies, Lord of Tir Na Nog. It's some
Interesting
crazy
name.
name there.
Yeah. Okay, let's watch it then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, done with the sixth episode. I think this one, yeah. What did you think of their dialogue as from the lake scene?
Right, just incredibly well directed. Uh,
Yeah,
I I thought it was just perfect. So you have Chise asking about, when she's gonna die, and Elias says, in about 3 years, um, unless I can do something about it. So then she says, "Oh, okay. So am I just your experiment to see if you can make me survive longer? A slave beggy survive longer?" And he says, "Yeah, you could think of it like that." Uh, and he says, since I'm half baked, is what he says, right? I'm
right,
half fairy, half human, you know,
right,
but I'm neither of them, and I'm not even a spirit. And he says because of that, he can't really empathize. He understands human emotions at a rational level, but he can't empathize with them. And so he
right.
says, yeah. And so he says, yeah, I just bought you because it was advantageous to me, is what he says. And you can't really, it's really interesting because I find his character so fascinating because since he doesn't have the facial expressions, right, you can't really, you can't tell what he's thinking. You just have his dialogue. And so, as he's going off on this, he says like, I told you, I gave you, I bought you, and then I told you exactly what you wanted to hear. I give you a place to belong. Um, so and he says, I would have told you like as soon as you became
Right.
completely attached to me,
Right.
but that sorcerer screwed everything up. And while he's going on about all this sort of stuff and really, trying to say that he's completely unattached, she's just an experiment. You get to hear her inner monologue going on in her head, and she says like, it's weird, like you can't really see what's going on. Because he doesn't have, he doesn't have a freaking face,
Yeah,
He
yeah.
can't really see what he's thinking. But she reaches up to him and she says, "You don't need to be so scared.
Right.
I'll be by your side." Right.
Right.
I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, she saw right through him.
Yeah.
Even the queen of the cats, right? Even she was like at the end, oh, so it seems like you finally found what you were looking for.
Yeah. It was, but it's beautifully well done. And you can't tell when he's joking. That's why, when he says things like, we're going on our next honeymoon or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You don't really know like,
if he's serious or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's probably like could probably be a great poker player.
Yeah. Yeah, undefeatable. Yeah.
Greatest
I have
poker
no
face
idea
ever,
what he's
yeah.
thinking. Yeah. But you
Yeah.
could tell he was really moved. After she said that, and she falls asleep into a deep sleep. He's like, "That's the first time she's touched me."
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think he really does care for her a lot.
I think so too. I really like his character actually. Like
He's
even
a good
more
guy,
now.
man.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Silver is awesome.
Silver's awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Kept that pudding.
I want some of that pudding, dude.
I want some of that pudding, man.
Yeah. Wow.
It looks so good.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Maybe we should celebrate. Maybe when this season ends, we should get some pudding for the
Definitely.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And to wash it down, we should get some bubble tea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the viewers who don't know, it's been our traditions whenever we watch anime to drink bubble tea.
Yeah.
So
Anime and bubs.
anime and bubs.
Yeah. So we should get that tradition kickstarted up again
Yeah, we should do it again.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
At least for the special occasions, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Like beginning and end of season for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. And yeah, otherwise great episode too. I really liked the introduction of the king and queen of the fairies.
Right.
All the
that short.
yeah, short.
The short, whoever he was, I don't know.
I'm not sure what to call him. Yeah.
Yeah, like chief minister or something.
Yeah, chief minister of the fairies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like super deep voice and very poetic when he introduces the queen.
Yep. Yep. And had a great dislike towards any any non-fairy creatures. Yeah. I liked all the mythological references there. I think like the queen of the fairies represented some like pagan goddess of some sort, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Because she like did not like Simon, who was like a Christian priest.
That's right. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
She like cast him away to like wander the forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until what would she say? Like the hour of like honey meat or something.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's good stuff. And you have the king of the fairies,
Yeah.
Oberon.
Yeah, and he's what like he's a satyr or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Satyr. Yeah,
satyr. Yeah, like the half goat, half human kind of.
Yeah. I think and satyrs were always kind of
Goofy,
kind of
right?
troublemakers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Goofy kind of troublemakers, even in the Greek plays and stuff. So
Yeah.
we're seeing that merit here. Like all in all, like really great allegory. Like really great use of imagery in this kind of fantasy land, but
Right.
in a very tasteful way to kind of illuminate some of these ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
It gives me that kind of Alice in Wonderland vibe, where you have these like crazy, crazy creatures and crazy things, but there's something behind all that
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I used to watch Alice in Wonderland. Like behind every character, there was some
Right.
lesson to be learned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every character had its own take,
Hmm.
and I think it's the same thing for this anime.
Yeah. It's masterfully done. It's really good.
Yeah,
This is becoming a favorite.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
it's really good.
Yeah, it's slowly climbing up the
Yeah.
rankings.
It looks like it's getting better every episode.
Yeah, it's only gonna be one episode next week. Now that we've caught
Yeah,
up,
one episode next week. It's going to be a bit shorter,
a
but
bit
I think
shorter.
we'll get more opportunity to elaborate on each episode.
Yeah, yeah, we can go more in depth, I guess. Okay, so this wraps up this episode, guys. Pritam, anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys have been really, digging what we've had to offer with these past two episodes. We really want to hear your feedback because we want to know what you think because we want to learn from you guys, and we also want to learn about ways that we can improve the show. So please leave us your comments. And remember to expand the description. We have a nice table of contents there with the highlights from the show if you want to quickly sort through, because these are some slightly longer episodes. Again, next week we'll be all caught up, so it'll just be one episode at a time, probably around 10 to 15 minutes. And if you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, so you can find out exactly when the next episode comes out.
Definitely. And as always, our theme for the end of the episode: stay inspired.